Well, hello and welcome back to the grind. Here I am back with the 1963 Hillman. We'll carry on working on this, keep on working on this for a while yet. So I don't know, some people like it. I think it's interesting. Anyhow, lots of welding, lots of cutting. So this week, what did I get done? There's no wheels or springs or anything back here. My. They're sitting out there. So what I've done, I pulled all that stuff out of there, and I found out that the springs are okay. The rear axle doesn't seem to be leaking anything, and it all came apart surprisingly easily. There wasn't a one broken bolt for the whole thing. So that's interesting. Then I started to work on the structure back here. I don't know, you can't really see that very well. Maybe let me get a light. Get a light, Lauren. Okay, we'll get a light. There, I'm working on this structure that goes around the back of the car. Well, down and then down in here, all the way back there. So, and at the back of the car also, there was a dent right there. So I cut out part of the back there so I could pound it out a little bit, make it a bit better. Anyhow, the working on the framework for the back of the car. So I've got this half of it, this side here done. The passenger side, we've got good frame right from the front to the back, yay. And I've got to do, next week I'll do the frame on the other side there. See if I can get that to come together. So stick around, you'll see everything I did, and make sure you like and subscribe it, because you know that's what YouTube likes. YouTube likes subscriptions, and they like likes. Anyway, enjoy it all, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Yeah, hello, I'm back again, ready to start another chunk of this car here. Now I left off with this done. I have to put a piece in here, which I'll do right away, just over to here like I have it on the other side. And then I might fill in this hole in here, same on the other side, fill that in, get those sort of looked after. I think there's a bit of welding to do on the floor over there that I didn't do yet, and then see what happens. I've been away for a few days, went up to Ontario, helped my friend Paul with a motorcycle, and brought home a case of COVID. So here I am, and my voice is still a bit hoarse, but I'm mostly over it now. Still don't want to go out in public. Anyway, I'll carry on. Show you what I've done. It's not the prettiest work in the world, but it'll be all right, I think. Anyhow, none of the work I do is the prettiest work in the world. So this thing here, I would just put a piece of metal in there to fill that in, and that looks pretty good. Then in here, I put a piece of metal in there to fill that in. That looks pretty ugly. Up here, I haven't done that yet. It's too hot to touch now, so I'll fill in a piece there later, just to keep the outside out, the inside in. Otherwise, I think we're okay. Now, I won't do the other side over there until such time as I move the welder back over there. First off, I think next on the list is start to tackle the back end here and get the framework done at the back of the car. That means taking out the differential, dropping that to the ground, dropping the springs out, and then I'll clean up the springs while I have them out and make it so that they see how they are right now. They've got all those gaps. That's from rust and stuff building up inside them, and they should sit together better than that, we think. Anyway, I'll carry on. I'll show you how I make it out. Came off. It's the universal joint that hooks up in between here and here. Now I was really surprised those bolts all just came off without any trouble at all, and the thing slid apart without any trouble at all. Must have been all the oiling it got over the years from the front to the back. Anyway, and it looks like, you know, there's a bunch of grease on there, but I bet you the seals and everything in this rear end are fairly good, because there's nothing coming out the axle side, as far as I can tell, that side, and there's nothing coming out the axle side and this side, as far as I can tell. Maybe it's all okay. But we'll I'll clean this up. That's likely serviceable. The rubber bits inside here, like there's rubber bits around those lumpy things there. They might be fairly close to done, but I don't know whether this is obtainable or not, so it might be serviceable for another 20 years or so anyhow. Anyway, there, we'll just keep it to one side here and have to remember where it is. Maybe I'll have to put it in the trunk or something. I'll do that after I bring the car down. I'll put it in the trunk. And then now the drive shaft can come off of it. And don't know if I just want to hang the drive shaft for a little while because it might leak oil. I'll hang the drive shaft up with a thing. Oops. Oh, yeah, here I am. All the stuff that I thought would be impossible to take apart comes apart. Drive shaft, all those bolts came out. This is the shock absorber thing on the bottom here. It just popped right out without any trouble at all. Nothing broken. These bolts here that hold this U-bolt on, the nuts that hold the U-bolt on, they all came off. Now I've made this the 7/16 by 20 is the thread on that, and so I've got these ones here pounded up. I just put that on until it's flush and then give them a pound. But these ones I'll just, like, I don't want to pound on these guys here because they're self-lockers. Oops, don't want to pound on these ones, they're self-lockers. Anyway, I'll see if I can get this side off. The other side came off. Maybe I'll put some more penetrating stuff in there, right? Now, where am I? Here. So this side over here, all that came off, the rubber and everything. This side here, just the plate came off and the spring stayed together. So the spring is like rusted on here, maybe, and rusted on here. But I think this side here will come free because this is let go, and the center pin seems to be there. I don't know if there doesn't seem to be a bolt on the end of the center pin. It just goes through and you clamp it, but we don't know that for a fact. I'll see if I can get this bottom plate off, and if that bottom plate will come off, then it'll be home free, right? We'll just see. Yeah, there. Now, there's the answer. This one here, the center bolt is still on here. Can you see that? Yeah, sorry. Here's the answer. The center bolt is still on here on this side. And so I'll put a couple of tie wraps around here and then I'll let the center bolt go. And that will release it from something here. Might have to find a new center bolt for this side here later. But I don't know where it hooks on for sure. Might be... I'll just figure that out as we go along. We don't know what's going to happen. I'll see if I can get this off without breaking it. Yeah, there, that snapped free with a vengeance. That did. Anyhow, it did a big old pop, but it came free. And so I think I did it in the wrong order. I think you should undo the center pin before you undo those great big bolts on those. And then when you put it back together, you put it through the center pin and then just put that bolt on it afterwards. You put the nut on it afterwards. Yep, I think that's how it's supposed to be. But I'll check those pins because it just seemed to pull, like as soon as I turned it, it pulled the threads right out of that little thing because there's an awful lot of tension and pressure on that spring. Anyway, we'll I'll get the springs apart and clean them all off, and then they'll go to bed back together nicer. Yeah, there we go. New lips. Yeah, there we are. That's enough for today. I'll come back tomorrow perhaps and try some more. See you then. Okay, here I am, back again. Another day. Now, the rear end's got to come out, which is happening right about now. I thought I'd maybe show you what's going on. So what I've done is I've put my motorcycle lift underneath it. I lifted it up and then I pushed it way over to that side and then lifted the car a bit, and then I put the like I pushed it back the other way, so I'll lift the car a bit more and push it back a bit more the other way, and maybe that'll clear it, and then I can wheel it out of there. See what happens. See if that's high enough to make a difference here. It's not that heavy, it's just that, yeah, I think I might be able to jockey it out of there now. We'll just see. Looking anywhere near right? Oops, there you are. Somewhere around there. Looks like there's a brake hose holding. I guess I gotta cut off that brake hose. Yeah, that's all. Somebody put a chain around there or something, eh? Anyway, let's see how bad that brake cable is. Yeah, completely blocked anyhow, so there you go. I'll find a new brake cable to fit that. And these brake lines, they'll be pretty easy to make up. This thing here, interesting the way this works. So when you pull on the brake, the handbrake, it pulls this cable here, pulls this in. Meantime, that pulls that this way at the same time. So that pulls that in. Cool. Anyway, that's out of there. I'll just move it on out of the way. Yeah, another surprise. The exhaust pipe, like all these things here, the U-bolts on the exhaust pipe here, I was all ready to cut them off, and they just came off with the impact driver, no problem. This thing here, I don't know how I'm going to get in there, but I imagine I will. I'll just undo these. Maybe it'll all come apart. Or right here, sorry, this thing. And the same thing with this. I'll just figure it out as I go along. That might not even have to come off of there, eh? Ever. Anyway, don't remember what that's for. Oh yeah, that's part of the support for the spare tire, which holder, I have the holder, it goes underneath here. Anyhow, these things here, in the maybe ever used again, probably. Now see if these will come off so easily as everything else has come off. Get these shackles, that's what they are, shackles. First off, I have to change the location of my lift, because I need to get that spring out of there. And the lift is sitting right on the spring, so I'll just move the lift over to maybe right here. It'll be all right. There's plenty of support there, and put a board underneath it that'll spread it around a bit. Yeah, so more amazing. One of the most amazing things is that these shock absorbers are still good. They still, feel really good. There's no, and they even have a bit of pressure left in them. I don't know. So these bolts here came out easy, and well, I haven't got them all the way out, but they're coming out. These things here came apart easily without any breakage so far, and I think it just sort of one side slides off the other. The shackle itself, that might be usable. We'll just see. Once the springs get cleaned up, then this part here needs, like, that's suspect, right? We'll have to get that fixed up somehow. I think I can make it look like the other side. Well, don't know how that sort of fits in there. This side here is rusted too, so I guess I gotta fix both sides, which is okay. I can do that. I'll take the needle scaler to everything back here and figure out what needs to be fixed. Get this thing out of the way. Anyway, it's coming apart, so that's interesting. Okay, I'll show you how I make out when I get it done. Here's the here's the center pin. This sticks up into, oh, I shouldn't pull that out of there. That holds the springs together in the same lineup, and it also centers the axle on the same spot on each side, so that the axle's pointing towards the front, as long as these things aren't bent. But that's how leaf springs work and keep it straight. Anyway, that's next. I'll have a look at those center pins. They might be okay. They might be able to retap that and put another nut on it they don't, I took it apart wrong, because you should take the center pin nut off before you release the pressure on this thing, and that way it doesn't strip the center pin apart. Anyway, that's later. Okay, I'll get this stuff here apart and see if I can get the springs off. Once the springs are off, I'll go after them with a needle scaler, and I'll needle scale this stuff in here too, all the above stuff. This thing here is all okay. Still got factory finish on here. Amazing. Okay, I'll see see if it comes apart. Yeah, no, so far everything's come apart without a fight. I don't know. Now I've got the springs off. They were in here, but they just unscrewed and came out. Same on the back. They just unscrewed and came out. This thing here, I'm gonna have to cut that out of there because I have to rebuild all that, right? I don't know how far up. We'll needle scale it and find out. I think this part's okay up here. Feels weak there. Strong. Anyway, first off, see these bolts here? They hold on the rear fender, I think. I think they go right through. And I'll pull them if I can. This thing here, I should pull it out before I really hurt myself on it. I think this turns, somehow winds it in, I'm not sure. But, you know, was one of the engineers 50 years ago saying, hey, you know, in 50 years time, somebody might want to take this apart, we should make it so the bolts come out easy. And who knows, eh? Because everything's come apart without a hassle. I thought I'd be cutting bolts and everything along here, but no, don't have to. Okay, I'll just carry on. Yeah, their rear bumper came off. It's a little bit bent, but I'll be able to straighten that out, I think, and clean it up. It won't be perfect, but it'll be okay. Well, who knows? Underneath here is all right, though. I've a little bit of bend right there. Get that out of it somehow or other. Looks like I have some cutting here to do anyhow. Anyway, this one here gave up a good fight. It was rusted off on the inside, rusted up on the inside here. Anyway, I don't know what this bit here is for. Like there seems to be a rubber fitting in there for some reason. Wonder what it was. Or could have been, who knows, eh? Maybe it's something to do with the tire. Yeah, it's likely something, that's where the tire thing fit into there and onto there. And then it would swing down here, right? Okay, that's what that is. Then this side here is the same thing, but maybe unused because it would be backwards for over in England, maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. Who knows? Anyway, that's what it is. Maybe they just had those parts made and that was that. We'll just see. We'll carry on and see what I can come up with next. Okay, I'll let it down. I'll see if I can get the gas tank out of it. And once I get the gas tank out, I'm pretty sure there's nothing in the gas tank, but who knows, eh? A bunch of squirrels maybe. Yeah, that was easy. It basically fell right out of there. Now there's some rust down in there and rust across there. That'll fix that all up later. And I did take out the spout too. It was, here it is. It's got a rubber hose for overflow that goes down and out the bottom somewhere. And then this is, actually it's okay, this thing. The little tiny, like when it goes in, it's got a safety on here, that little thing there that won't let it pop back out of there. I think that's also the stopper on that. Yeah. Anyway, oh, there's the top for it. I think it needs a new cap maybe, or even a new gasket or something. Hey, we'll do something about that. Anyway, there's the tank over here. The tank's been worked on before. I'll clean it out and do a pressure test on it and just see how things are. Don't know. Like down here. This end here has got rusted and got some solder work on it there. Pretty old solder work. It likely is. We'll pressure test it and see how it is. And the mud daubers have been in there making mud. That's later, we'll worry about that. Yeah, so been at it with the needle scaler. That lots of rust falls off. And everything here, that's all solid. It's good. Up in this end, it's all good. It's all good in there. Nothing nothing that the needle scaler went through. Up here is good. Down to about, and this side is good too, like about here somewhere, maybe even here. And needle scaler never went through, but I want to just like I want to cut away this area. I'll just cut that out. And yeah, maybe I'll just cut right across here, and that'll give me room to see what I'm doing and fixing. Then this seam, I'll cut it to this seam and see what happens, because there's still more rust right in there. You can't see it, but it's there. It'll come out after a while. This thing here is just about rusted off of it. This is where the fender bracket goes, and that's pretty near rusted off of it. So I'll make a measurement from that bolt hole to this bolt hole so that I can get it in the same place again. And the same over here. This thing here has to be taken out. But this side, it's got lots of, like it blew through everywhere here, eh? There have been things living in there. Yeah, more. That's what happens. The little animals get in there and start living in there, and then they rust it all out. So that's why that's rusted. But it's even up in here. So I think that the metal's okay about this high up. It's all right. It's just down at the bottom here. It's rusted out, except for this end here is just all gone, right? Now, I have some, this will be 18 gauge right here. This thing here I'll make out of 16 gauge down in here where it's got to be more solid. And then this thing here, I just don't even know what that is, but imagine once I get it cut out of there, I'll figure it out. Anyway, that's, and then this side, like that's this piece here, which is very solid metal, hey? Don't know what this stuff is, like it must be just about lead. Maybe it is lead. Anyhow, you can see that they just put that in there, and I think it's pop riveted on, so I'll get it off of there. Yeah, it is pop riveted on. So I'll get this off of here. Yeah, you can see pop rivet, and Bondo. But I'll get that off and then see what's underneath for shape. What it's supposed to have. It's supposed to have a double layer there. Coming down here, this would be a strength piece for it. And that comes right around to the back here and joins onto this. Oh yeah. So I'll cut that I'll cut this offending stuff out of there and see if I can make that somewhat right. Don't know how far that rail, I don't know how down that rail comes. I guess it goes, it's got hard to say. Okay. Yeah, it comes right down to the bottom here. Okay, all the way along, it comes right down to the bottom. All right, so there's an inner and outer fender, inner and outer on that. Okay. Yeah, so measurement. I've cleaned up all the mess on the floor. Measurement from here, which is the center of that hole, to here, center of that hole, which is the, this where the springs mount, 1255 millimeters. So, and I measured both sides, they're both the same, 1255 millimeters. So that's to make this centered again. And I'll mark it up here, I'll scribe it in there so that it's there forever. And then that'll be, like I'll mark the center of it right here and how far down it is from here, right? Which is a good idea to do too. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but I drilled a little hole right there, 6.5 millimeters above the center of this one, and 1255, not a very good writing, but 1255 from there to here, center to center. This little hole I drilled up here, 7.5 centimeters there to there, 1255 to the top there. So I'll remember that later. Now I can cut this stuff out of here without worrying about it too much. And I think I can cut it along here. This part here I'll have to put back on later. Or that part there might be able to stay on there. Because it's like it's two parts here somehow. Don't know why they did that, but they did that. Because it goes like it squeezes in skinnier over there. That's why. Okay, well, we'll figure it out. Yeah, here's where they had it covered up with pop rivet stuff. And I think a little sheet of aluminum they had on there. But I might just, yeah, maybe I'll just cut it along about here somewhere. And figure it out from there what to do with it. Like I've got that edge kind of straight there. Wonder what I should do. I'll think about it. It had a nice rounded edge from the factory. Then they had more aluminum sheet along here covering up this stuff. They didn't bother with this bit right here. This is the lights for the tail, for the license plate. I'll leave them alone. This thing here, I want to cut this out so I can get into this and fix it. Okay, so I'll start over here. This part here has never been cut out, so that's got the right curve on it, right? I'll save that piece and use it to make the curve, and that'll make it, and it's got the right depth too. Oh, good. Well, that's everything we need to know right here. So if I just cut it along here, I'll make a line and cut it. I'll put a piece of tape, make a line and cut it along there. Then I'll know how much deep it's got to go, and I'll compare this to the other side from this body line right here. As long as the body line's there, yeah. So that body line's there, and I can just do that. Hey, solve the problem. And then I just have to think about this, but it's all should be the same as this here. And I have to cut this bit out here because that's bent up. Don't know if I can get in there to straighten that or not. I'll figure it out. Okay. Yeah, there. Now, whoop, back here a bit. So I just marked this with a random spot, but a straight line with a piece of tape. So now I'll just cut along the edge of that and then down to here. Leave that alone for now. I'll likely cut that out later, but I want to just don't want to do anything with that yet until I get to putting this back together again. Anyhow, that'll give us a nice straight line for cutting, and then I'll save that piece so I know how deep it goes. With a plasma cutter, now what'll I do? Well, I know how far down from that dot comes the center of the hole here, so I'm good with that. And then I'll build the piece. Here's what I got to do, right? I cut this out before I'd started plasma cutting, just so I'd get a nice clean cut on it. Now I'll have to take the rubber out of here, which I'll push out with the press. I'll just press that out of there. Then I'll put a new frame on it. This is the way down, and put it back into place, and then I'll build around that. Hey, how would that be? That would be a good idea, wouldn't it? Okay, that's what I'll do. So that thing there, I can basically just, butt weld it back into its spot there. Then the rest of this stuff I'm gonna lap weld it on here. Clean that off, lap weld it on, and that'll make it good and solid. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. See how we can make that happen. That'll be a tomorrow thing anyhow. Yeah, so a bit of a gap down there now. Oh, a little bit of a gap over here too. This stuff here, whatever it is, don't want to start welding with that stuff in there. Look at that, that looks like brand new still in there. That's amazing. Oh well, now, I did get this thing out of here, but I think I ruined it. Anyway, that's likely not going to get the tire thing underneath there anymore. I could put it underneath there for show, but we'll see. Maybe I can fix that, make it. Yeah, I could likely put I could weld a bolt to the top of that thing and make it work that way. Well, let's see. Okay, well, later. This thing here cut out, that thing there cut out, and that's enough for today. I'm all dirty and messy, so see you tomorrow. Okay, here I am again, back for another day. Anyhow, I'm gonna start working on that frame piece here on this side. First thing I'll do is I'll make a new piece for here, and I'll make it so it's the same size as that over there, and then I'll build this to go to it and from it from both sides. I'll butt weld it across the top here, and then this stuff here I'm just gonna put a new piece in and lap weld it on there. That would be okay with me. And then as far as up in here goes, I think I'm up far enough that get the dirt out of there. There were some critters living up in there, and they created a bunch of rust on the bottom of this thing here. But I think this part here is okay. A little bit of a gap right in between those two there, and the rest of it is all okay. I don't think I have to worry about that. That looks fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Yeah, it's not, like up here it's not rusted. And where's the piece I cut out? Oh, there it is right down here. Here's the piece I cut out. Rusted just on the bottom there, hey? And the sides seem to be okay. Yep. It'll be fine. And this piece here, I guess I'll just make sort of the same idea, because it's got to be that wide. So the way they made it here, it did rust out, but I don't think that's a big deal. I don't think like 50 years later it rusted out, right? So it'll likely last a few days if I put a new one in. Anyway, I'll start working on this piece here first. First I have to get that rubber bit out of the, oh, where is it here? It's over here. This, I have to get the rubber out of there. And that rubber is sort of there's no more of them around. I might be able to find something like that somewhere, but this rubber actually might be okay. We'll just see when I get it out of there. If I weld on it, it won't be okay after I'm done. Rubber actually came out pretty easily on the press over there, and it's in two pieces like that. So this might be a replacement from sometime less than 50 years ago, and it's still nice and supple. The other end here got a little bit damaged on the way out, but I don't think that hurts anything. I can reuse these. I'll put them in the pile. And the way that the shackles work, it stops at it'll only go so far, and then it tightens onto itself, so it can't put too much pressure on those things. Cool. So that's a problem solved easily. This one here, I'll cut that all off, clean that all off of there, and then I'll weld the new pieces on. Maybe I'll make them first, and then I'll cut that off of there, right? That'd be a good idea. Okay. Yeah, here, so now I made the two side pieces, right? I'll fill in the bottom after, but that's the way it kind of looks right there anyhow. That's the other way. That's the back of the car is that way where my finger's pointing. The front of the car is here, and that's the way it sits inside the car. So these two pieces fit into those areas. That one there, and that one goes on that side. Oh, where am I here? That one here goes on that side, and this one goes on this side. And then I'll build around that I'll pack that in, then I'll build all around it to make it all work. 35mm hole saw, or 1 3/8 of an inch. So that seemed to work all right. We'll just carry on. I'll put all this apparatus away for a while because I won't be making it on the other side for a bit. First piece of the puzzle right there. Everything that you think is so hard to do isn't really that tough to do. Anyhow, this will go up in here, like that, right there. Then I have to clean all that stuff off so I can weld. But then after that, these pieces come, and I'll get this sort of together. And I'll do it the same way they did it, with an overlap in the middle, and just plug weld the overlap in the middle somehow. Don't know how I'm going to figure that out yet, but we'll figure it out. Okay, either up or down, one of the two, it'll work. Okay, so that's a little bit of a success there, and it's welded up on the inside very well. It only was just like welded across the top before, which I guess was enough to hold it, right? And then those rubber bits will go back in there, and I can put that back together and maybe put wheels back on the car so I can roll it around a bit. Yeah, so cut. Anyhow, cleaned that off pretty good so I can weld to it. And same on the other side. Oops, here we are. Cleaned that all off pretty good. So I'll start reconstructing this. This thing here, I had left it into here, but then I got checking into it. It was a little bit what you call suspect, right? So I figure I might as well just cut it back till I get good. And where's the piece that I cut out of there, I wonder? Fell down here somewhere. I'll have to find it because I need that for the curve. Here it is, right here. This has got that structure on there for holding on to the wheel weld thing, so I might cut that off and weld it back on again. Anyway, there's a hole here, and then I found a fairly big gaping hole on this side, hidden in behind this panel here. Oops, sorry, hidden in behind this panel here, so I had to cut that away, put it over there so I have it for later. And anyway, that's enough cutting. Let's start doing some welding. Yeah, okay, I think I cleaned the floor again. Lots of cleaning the floor here. Anyhow, I think I'm ready to put this piece in here to start. Now, I have a plan for the rest of this. I'm going to cut this across here. You can't really see that, can you? The back of it I'll cut across here to cut that out of there, and then I'll hammer and dolly this straight. This side here won't cut out. I'll just cut out over to here somewhere, so I can hammer and dolly this, because it's easier to fix the inside panel and make it look good than it is to fix the outside panel and make it look good. So I'll save as much of this outside structure as I can, and I think it's mostly all right. We'll look at it when I get the inside cut out. Anyway, later. Now, how come I don't cut all this stuff out right away and then weld it all up? Because, well, I wouldn't remember where things went then at all. I'd be completely lost. I'm only partly lost most of the time, so I'll fix this chunk up, then I'll move along to that side and fix this side up, and then I'll move along to doing the outside stuff, and this back panel business. Anyway, let's get putting this in. Yeah, that's welded in there. The actually it came along pretty good. It blew through here, but then I was able to fix that easily. Then on the other side also, I'll bring a light around. First part of the puzzle done, and it actually it fit in. I'm surprised. So now I'll make a piece that comes to here, from here, about here somewhere to here, and then I'll worry about that curvy piece up there later. Now, I don't know what I'll do. Maybe I'll make the piece to come down square, meet on that. I'm not really sure. We'll think. Starting to come back together, eh? And I measured this. I measured this down from my little hole up there. Wait, I turn the light on here. Yeah, so it's supposed to be 7.5 to the center of that, and I checked that out. And that's pretty well on the center line right there, and looks good to me. I think it'll be fine, because it's just a shackle anyhow, and the shackle that's close enough for us guys. Now, I decided I'd put a 12-hole piece underneath here, and I lap welded it, you know, a 1/4 inch over on it, or a centimeter, whatever you want to talk about it, half centimeter. Anyway, so that's on and that's solid and hot. But I'll let that be, and that'll be enough for today anyhow. And I'll see you all tomorrow, I hope. Yeah, okay, new day. Here we are. And I've got still up on the lift end. So today, I'll see about making this piece in here, and then this piece back here. And then I might cut that out of there over to about here somewhere. And then see what I can do about fixing up all this in here. How would that be? Can you see any of that? Not very well, eh? Anyway, up in there, I'll sort of work across to about here somewhere, and that'll give me an opportunity to pound that out of there. Perhaps. We'll see. Here I am. Now, get around where I can see the light, eh? So I took a piece of metal and I cut it the right width here, which is like 6 centimeters, and the right width here, which is 5 centimeters, or close to the right width. And then I got the curve off of here for it to fit on there. Now I'll put a piece of metal across here and weld it to the side here. Then I'll cut these 2 tags that I have here off, put it onto, same on the other side, I'll put a piece of metal big enough to cover that jagged hole there. And then I'll take it over on the little bench, weld it up and on the inside, and then I'll round out the corners so it looks nice, and see if I can make it look something like that there. We'll just see how it fits together. The piece there, right? And I'm going to hot on that side. So later on I'll just cut this edge off of here. In fact, I'll cut it off before I start welding down here and make it easier to weld. So I'll weld it up all on the outside, and then I'll go into the inside and weld it up on the inside so that it's really strong, and then I'll round off this corner, this edge out here, so that it looks kind of nice. Anyhow, that's the idea of it. And I just have to undo that and cut that, and then it'll drop on out of there. And we hope it'll fit back on. Yeah, so there's the piece there, made up. Now I put quite a bit of weld on the outside here, and then I put a lot of weld on the inside, and then I ground off the outside so it looks pretty nice. I could do a bit more grinding right there, eh? I'll do that. I'll just do it on this little thing here. And then, now this will, well, maybe it'll fit. We'll just see. Let's see if it'll fit. It's supposed to go right like here. Whoops, sorry, not even pointing in the right way, am I? Yeah, so I can get that pounded up into there. It's a little bit like it got warped and stuff from all the heat, but that'll go up into place and should sit all right in there. We hope. We'll just wait and see. First off, I'll grind it a bit more on this side here, make it look a bit better, and then see if I can get it pounded up into place there. Yeah, there we go. That's all. I don't know, can you see that? No. All welded in along, all the way along, and even did the underneath bit. And on the other side, wait a minute until I get around here. Bring a light over here so it's not shining in your eye. Ouch! And I hit my head on something. Yeah, I'm always hitting my head on something. So that looks all right. I think we'll be happy with that. Now, this back here, we'll fill in this bit back to the end here. And I don't know what's going to happen back here. Maybe I should cut some of that stuff out of there. Yeah, perhaps I'll cut this out of there up to there, and then I'll put this piece in, because it gets pretty narrow back here, and then I'll see what these things are supposed to do. Right? How about that? That'll be a good thing to do. So maybe I'll do a bit of cutting here. I'll just cut across here, and then I'll cut across. I think I'm going to cut across right at the top of this over to about here. Oops, and down. so that I can pound out that thing on the outside there. Okay. Now, I don't know, did I show you that dent before? But there was a dent right here, pretty big, deep one. So I've got it mostly pounded out, and I'll just clean that off a bit better later, and then I'll use a bit of filler on it. Right in here, there's a crease right along here that I can get out with the hammer and dolly right there. I'll do that. Yeah, oh, there we go. That's enough for today anyhow. So I've got this piece, as you saw, welded in. So that's all strong to here anyhow. Then I got this thing cut off of here. It used to look like that side over there. And there's I don't know what that thing does, but it's in there. Anyway, I'll see about putting that thing back in. I don't know what it is. It's got a little rubber thing on it, but it doesn't seem to do anything. Who knows? Must have done something sometime. Who knows what it was? Anyway, that maybe somebody knows. Does anybody know what that is? Is it part of this apparatus for holding the wheel up? The spare tire used to go here. I don't know. Now this, I got that mostly pounded out, but I think I'll cut this up a bit higher here, pound that out, and then put that piece back in there, because it's just about right, but not quite right. You can see all my little dint from the inside there. It should be better. I could do better than that. Anyway, that's next time. And I'll finish this back to here. Now this unibody business, right? So this whole thing, like there, this outer part here of the trunk is held on by this bit here, and that there's a section of frame or framework goes along the edge of this thing. Don't know if I can see it on the other side. No, I've cut it all out of there. And it's not there on the other side because that's where the gas tank was hanging down here. But we'll see. See, that's all rotten in there. It's got to get cleaned up. But I'll clean that up when I get this all out of here. I think I'm okay up in this end of it because it doesn't seem like any critters were living in there. Yeah, that all feels good. So I'll just cut it out from about here back on this side. That'll make life easier. I'm not going to bother with these jack things. They don't, if I ever want to jack it up, I'll have an axle jack for it. The ones on the front are okay. The ones in the back, they're all crooked and ugly, so they're going to be gone. And I have to cut some of this out, but not too bad. Like over here, it's all right here to there, and this part here is okay. So anyway, and this part here, like the outer shell is okay. The inner shell, I'll have to cut the outer shell all out so I can get to the inner shell. So, but I might be able to just reuse this piece or fix it up and use it. We'll see. We'll see what I can do, because the more of the original stuff you can use, the better. Lovely day again in September 2024. That's where I am. Anyhow, this bit here, I was going to cut it up a bit more on the inside here so I could do more pounding on this, but you know, I think I'm far enough on that. I'll just put a bit of fill in there to smooth it out, because the top rail, I'll have to pound on that a little bit to bring it down, but otherwise this is indented, so it'll just fill easily and come to a nice finish. Now, this part I got next is here, and it looks like the original one came back to here and across, and that's where it closed off, eh? And then this part here comes around otherwise. So a little bit of rust right there to fix. Guess we can do that. Yep. Anyway, that'll all be part of the job. So I'll put this piece in here next, I think. Should I do that or should I do this? Don't know. That is lots of stuff in there is suspect. Okay, I'll have some inspection here and see what I want to do. Okay, here I'll construct this end of it similar to what I did at the other end. So it's got a flange there going on to here, and then this comes across, and it's 5 centimeters wide here, 4 centimeters wide there, and it's a different height, 5 centimeters, 6 centimeters here, and 5 centimeters here. So I've got that, the bottom piece made up, and then I'll cut a piece of metal out that fits in here, and I'll cut another piece. This one here I'll lap weld it on. That one there I'll put a flange on there somehow or other. We'll see how I can work that out. Anyhow, we'll figure it out. Okay, here we are. So how many pairs of vice grips do you really need? 1, 2, 3, oh, only 4. That's not bad. Anyhow, now I've got that sort of built. We've got a flange up here. I'll put some, whatever I gotta do. Gonna go and weld it all together like I did on the other end up here, and then I'll fit it back on, and that'll be this end of the body done. Looks all right, doesn't it? Okay. So here's the piece, and I painted up on the inside there. So now I'll see if I can get this welded on and go from there. Yeah, I'm not going to win any beauty prizes, but that's all in there and solid. Now, I had a few fires in here. There's some, debris on the bottom of this pan here that I was welding to, and it lit up on fire. And I have to get that sort of straightened out again, because there should be like that maybe. I'm not sure. It should be up a bit, so I might have to jack that a bit. I'm not sure. Anyway, that's from there forward is solid, and that's good for this thing here. So I'll let that be. Next, I'm going to see about start putting this back together again. All the king's horses and all the king's men. So this piece here, which I cut out of here, so that I could pound on that, which I've got pounded out reasonably well now. And if I put that in, back in, and then I'll fabricate a piece for here that's supposed to go into this corner here. I think this other piece comes right around to here, and then they meet up somehow or other. Can't really tell. Yeah, that seems to be, could be, maybe, perhaps. That'll all have to get cut out of there later anyhow. There's debris. What used to be. Okay, this piece here I'll put back in, which is here, but I'll fabricate a piece to go onto the bottom of it so that it's like this here. Can you see this? Yeah. Light. Get some light. See how that is there? It's got that lip on it. So I'll see if I can make that happen to that piece there. Because there's nothing wrong with that metal. I don't think. Okay. Yeah, there. Now, I cleaned that off reasonably well. Cleaned it off well here so I could weld it. Then I made this piece here just with a little bit of tapping on it on the in the vise, and being careful about it. Seemed to come around all right. And this will go on and meet up with those things right there like that. So I'll weld that together and see how it looks. That's the new lip out at the bottom. Yeah, there we go. That's welded back together. Or that's welded together. I cut out the rusty bits. Well, the rusty bits weren't there to cut out, but anyhow, I cut out some of it and welded that back on. And then tomorrow I'll see if I can fit it to the car. But for now, that's enough for today. I welded it on both sides, and it's, hot. Anyway, enough for today. I'll hopefully see you tomorrow around here. Yeah, so Well, yeah. Oh, where am I? It's me. I'm back again. It's another day on the Hillman 1963 Super Minx, right? And so in here, this piece here, I cut it so it'd be level across here, and putting it back into where it came from. I have to go do a little bit of fill work right there, but that's all right. I can get that later. Well, during this, I'll fill that. I'll put a little piece of metal in behind there and fill it. Then that'll be good, and everything should work out all right. I'll just go ahead and weld that in. This is welded on both sides. I did that last night for that piece there, and then this will go in. And before I did anything, I went and I put a dolly up there and pounded down on this so that it's reasonably straight. This I can fill in with a little bit of filler. This bit here is, I don't know how it's supposed to look. Maybe like, hard to say. But it'll be pretty well hidden by the bumper anyhow, so I'm not too fussed about that. Then this part's all done. Next is that bit there. I'll get this in, rebuild this little bit of a structure here, then I'll build that around there. How's that sound? Maybe. Okay, here I'm still at it. Now, I put this piece in here. Don't be looking too close at that welding. Just to shore it up a bit, and then I'll put a piece to join here and here, and that makes the back of that piece, what's that piece in there? Then I'll get that straightened out. This is supposed to have a lip on it. I guess we'll get to that soon. And, well, it's got a lip on it to here. Don't know. Because that comes down, see how that comes down and meets there? But then that stops here, and then it comes down straight. No, it still goes curved in there. So it seems to be curved in all the way around. Okay, well, we'll sort that out. There's like 3 layers in here. There's a layer, this layer here, which is the inside layer. There's this layer here, which is the inner fender, we'll call it. And then this bit comes down to here. So we'll make this bit straight, this bit gets the curve on it, and then see what happens from there. Yeah, because it's got about a 1/2 inch to go in to meet that. Okay. Which one does this meet up on? This meets up on here. This goes to here and stops. Yeah, it stops right there. So then the lip only comes to here, right? Then the rest of it kind of curves around it. We'll just figure it out. Okay. Anyway, now, meantime, 3 years ago or 2 years ago, I went and I bought this whack of this. Comes in 10-foot by 5-foot sheets. So I cut them down to a size that I could use. I think I had 5 or 6 sheets. So I've got this one, and I've got another one like this left over still. So then I'll have to start looking to buy some more metal. Oh dear me, can't be doing that. Going out into the world and seeing human beings. Oh dear, can't do that. Okay, I'll carry on. I'll see if I can make a piece that gets up to here. And you see that little red line there I've got, that's the 1 centimeter above that is the bottom of this, and it's got to be level all the way up to here. Yeah, and then this part here comes down to meet it. So it'll be 6 centimeters long here and 7 centimeters long there, because it's a little bit of a gradient to it. And this bit here, I kind of got that straightened out pretty good, but I'll get a dolly on that and sort that out so it's right. Looks better. Anyway, keep on going. Yeah, there, that's getting a bit more solid up here. Hot. Whoa, real hot. Anyway, now, what'll I do next? Will I do the outside piece? Maybe I'll do this outside piece. I'm not going to put a cap on the bottom of them yet until I decide, like this might come down and just go over both of them somehow or other. That likely wouldn't be a good idea. Anyhow, I'll get the two rails on, and then I'll decide how to cover them on the bottom here. Might just, you know, put a little cap that goes over both sides or something or other. Anyway, that's, or maybe I'll take this one here, make it the right length and make it so it goes over. Don't think I'll do that because I might not have cut them off to a different height. We'll see. Yeah, so this is all guesswork here. Just guessing where things go. I might have to trim this off a bit later because it's a little bit lower. This side is higher up than this side. But we'll wait and see what I have to do later to make it fit into the whole thing here. For now I wanted to get some strength in there. Oh, and hot. This thing here, I was wondering how am I going to fill that. Now it's just a little tiny patch to put in there, so that's okay. This part here, I don't know what time is it here now. We'll just check. Yeah, okay, now how do I build? I'll build that little bit to go from there to, I don't know that it goes from there to there. It doesn't. No, it goes from here around to there. So I need to make this piece. And I'll make a flange out here to join onto that. And I'll make this flange down here to join onto this. Okay, well that'll be okay. I can do that. And it has this little bit going through it, but I can't see any reason that that's in there. I don't know why that would be there. So I'm going to ignore it, and then someday I'll find out why it's got to be there and I'll have to put it in. But that's later. I can do that, like that's, once this is here in the right spot, then I can drill a hole right through, weld that into it. Okay, we'll just see what happens here. Yeah, so there's the next little piece to go in. And I just sort of made that as I, like, first I made this flange here, then I measured over where it's got a bend. It's a little bit of an angle on that one. And this one here is a straight side, and the other one's a straight side, and it fits in. Like I didn't even measure anything, I just did it. I had a piece of metal that was the right length, so just did it this little bit wide gap over here, but I'll fill that, I'll get that figured out with a piece of fill there. Cool. Okay, so that, I welded that along there. I just lac welded that onto the old piece. And this one here, I lac welded it along there. Then I've got this piece extended down to about the right height. It's a bit, it could be a bit less high or lower, less. It should be there. Anyway, I don't think it makes a big bit of difference. The outside here, it's got another piece that goes in here. Don't know how that hooks in. Doesn't seem to. Maybe it hooks into this part here. Hard to say. Anyway, I'll hook it into this part here and just see how that looks when we're done. The this part here, a little bit of a gap right there fixed in, but for the most part, that's all back together on this side here. I'm not going to do anything on the bottom here until such time as well, I got to fix that hole up here, but later. When I'm putting the wall on, outside wall on, I'll fix this up to so that's all cut to the right height. Then, so that's I think we'll call that passenger side structurally done, right? So that's not bad. Then maybe I'll just that'll be the end of this video. I'll carry on next week with that side over here. Lots of cutting, lots of welding, more and more to go on it, but getting all the structure is back to being structure. So, okay, so what did I do? I got the rear end out of it, springs and shock absorbers and all that kind of stuff pulled out, gas tank pulled out of it, and this side here from here back rebuilt. The forward part's mostly all okay. I've got to put a couple of, if I don't ever forget, it's going to take, it takes a, whatever you call that piece that goes across here, an outrigger. Outrigger comes across right here underneath that. So right about here. I'll put an outrigger in there, and that should improve the structure. And otherwise, it's starting to look like a car again, instead of just a rusted piece of something. So, I think that's it for this week, and I'll get this video up and you guys can perhaps enjoy it. It's getting to be a little bit repetitive, but that's what's happening around here. So, it'll be a bit more repetitive before anything else happens. Good enough. Hope you enjoyed it all. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye for now. Okay, here it is. Where am I? Yeah, down in Holland Cove, and it's September something or other. 16th maybe? Yeah, September 16th today. Nice day on the water today. Last night there was a cruise ship went out in the dark and it was lit up like a Christmas tree. One of the big ones. Oh, there goes a grouse. I don't know, did you hear that? They just sort of explode out of the bush. And then this morning early there was another ship came in, and there'll be another one, I think another one coming, if it hasn't got here already. I don't know, there's some fishing boats out there. You can maybe see them, maybe not. Lobster season must be pretty near over. And the tide's sort of highish. So I'll have to bring the boat in, my boat in, one of these days here. Maybe day after tomorrow. Might be a good tide for bringing in the boat. Anyway, there you go. Another day at Holland Cove.